I'm going to ask you all a question that you most of the time hear all day, and you've probably heard it multiple times today already. How are you? Everyone usually says good, and that's a normal response, but good for me now is rather subjective. And when people look at me and they say, how are you? They look at me a little differently. They want to know more. And that's fine, but because it always hasn't been this way for me. So I'm going to share with you my journey back to good. So I graduated from East Carolina University about a year and a half ago and decided that I wanted to run a half marathon. I completed that after running every day that summer and decided that for some reason I wanted a new challenge. I was going to sign up for a triathlon. I was going to bike, run, and swim, and I was going to be an Iron Girl. Crazy. And I also found this Under Armour What's Beautiful challenge for women that brought women from all across the United States together. And they were documenting their challenges. I want to run a 5K. I want to be a triathlon. I want to work out every day. And I decided that would be a good way to document my journey and a good way to look back at what I had done. So here's a little piece of it.
Hi, I'm Whitney, and I'm really excited to not only be a part of this competition, but to bring more awareness to fitness and health among women. I'm hoping to inspire young women along the way to do whatever it takes and show young women that being strong is healthy and beautiful.
I'm about to do about a 20-mile bike ride.
Kick up your competitiveness and bring it on.
Little embarrassing, but at that time in my life, good was a really good answer for me. I was great. I was on this plan that I had in my head of my life, that what my life would be like, and I was an obsessive planner. I had a great family support system, great friends, great boyfriend, a job that I loved, and I had just put an offer in on my first home. Life was really, really good. But unfortunately, there was no way for me to plan what was about to change my life forever.
It has come to my attention that one of our fellow Under Armour What's Beautiful girls has suffered a horrific tragedy. Whitney S. was training for her triathlon and she was hit by a boater.
Sunday, June 3rd, 2012 started out as a typical Sunday. It was a beautiful summer day. My family and I headed down to my grandparents' house on the water, and my mom had been training for her own triathlon scheduled in June, and mine was scheduled in August. So she had been training in the open water for about a month before that. And that day she had asked me if I wanted to join her. And I thought it would be a good idea to start that portion of my training. I had only swam in the pool up until then and decided that that would be a good day to start. So we had set up a 50-yard buoy, a 100-yard buoy right outside the pier. We had a spotter boat trailing right beside us, and we were all geared up, jumped in the water, ready to go. I remember rounding the 100-yard buoy, feeling really, really strong, that I was really killing it, and getting within the 50-yard buoy and the pier and feeling, wow, the water's really rough, I'm a little tired, but then I just said to myself, keep going, keep swimming. You're almost done, you're almost there, just like I had done in many workouts before then. I remember being hit, the whole left side of my body took the impact of the boat. I was rushed to shock trauma, and upon arrival didn't have any blood flow or pulse in my left arm. The propeller had severed my ulnar nerve, and I had no feeling in parts of my fingers and my arm. I had broken my C2 in my neck, my pelvis, my scapula, and parts of my arm, to name a few. And that night I was stabilized, and the very next day went into 10 plus hours of surgery to repair my body. And Much of that month of June was very, very blurry to me. And much of what I remember is just from what people have told me. Much of what I remember is from what people have told me. And it's funny how some of those blurry moments become vivid and they're interlaced together. And one of those vivid moments that I remember is when I woke up, and it was the very first night that I thought was the first night being in the hospital. I had been in a medically induced coma for about a week. And I remember this nurse's voice, her telling me that it was okay, that we hadn't switched rooms, that I wasn't moving. And I just remember a calming voice, but couldn't put a face on that voice. And so when I was back for a follow-up appointment months later, I walked up to that floor and walked right up to the desk and asked the guy there if she was there. And I heard a voice, and I knew it was her. And I looked at her face, and I could finally put the face with the voice. And of course, I hugged her, and I was crying, and she thought I was crazy. But in that moment, that was a huge part of my recovery, and I knew that if I made it through that night, that it would be a long road, but I would get there. And I had tons of amazing nurses just like that, and those brilliant doctors that saved my life, an amazing support system all around me. But I didn't know what was going on all across the country with girls that I didn't even know.
I created this page, the UA Team Whitney, so that we could all, as a community, come together and help you finish your challenges.
Today isn't about competing against each other or competing against ourselves. It's about helping Whitney and coming together for a bigger cause.
This challenge is dedicated to Whitney, and I'm going to find the strength for her to get through it.
I am on my way to go swim my mile. But Whitney, go Whitney.
I've never run a mile that fast in my life. That's for you, Whitney. I hope you're doing good. All 7 of us are running this mile for you, girl.
I'm doing this for Whitney Sibol. Get well soon.
Upload something that shows you're thinking of her, you're sending good energy to her.
I'm proud to do it for you, and we're all hoping that you get better fast.
I love you. You are an inspiration. Prayers have been all over you. You're gonna get back, girl.
I know that she will be very happy to see what this community of women has done and the kind of drive that they have to help somebody out that most of us have never even met.
Clearly at that time, my perspective was really changed, and that video still gives me the chills. But all of these people around me were calling me an inspiration, but I was just surviving, doing the only thing that I knew how to do. And all of these people around me were being so inspiring, and I didn't even know most of them.
The fact that you guys are finishing my challenges is awesome. There's been a lot of tears around here, which is good, happy tears because of what you guys are doing. And it really means a lot, and it's inspiring. Good luck with your challenges, and I hope you guys all keep kicking butt.
We hope you continue to do better, and I hope you can stay posted on this page and see the progress we're making for you so we can get you to the end of the finish line. Let's do this, ladies.
So I started my journey out about a year ago, and I decided that I wanted to challenge myself by doing a triathlon. And now I stand here about 8 months later after a life-changing accident, and I think about everything I've been through physically, the mental toughness that has been tested. And as I recover and grow stronger, I want to challenge your everyday thinking. Take that project that you have lying on your desk and leave it there today. Go spend time with family or a friend that you haven't seen in a long time. Take the time to say thank you. Say thank you to someone that may not know how much you really appreciate them. And challenge yourself to step outside the box. Don't be scared of the unknown. Don't be afraid to deviate from the plan, because sometimes that's when the best things can happen. And so I know a lot of you like to step outside the box. So I challenge you to challenge someone else, inspire someone else to deviate from their plan, to step outside of their box. And maybe you can help them get back to their version of being good, because I know that I'm well on my way back to being my version of good. Thank you.